Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. All right, here's my latest build. I'm building an apartment complex in Kramatorsk out of Legos. So, in the 1980s, uh, a town called Kramatorsk in Ukraine had a nuclear spill. They had an apartment that had a small capsule of cesium that was left behind from a project that got mixed into the concrete. See if I could find the original Kramatorsk. And here we have it. That's the original. I've started building the front steps and also the front part of the building. Very colorful building. Funny thing is, some of these Lego pieces have the right color to it and the right kind of shape or design. Unfortunately, when I quoted how much all of these Legos would cost, it was quite a eye-watering amount. Let's see if we can pull that up. So far, already $300. I mean, granted, a bunch of it is from the base, which I could use something else, but still, even the body of the building is over $100 just for that. Just for that. And anyway, I want you guys to pray for me. I'm here. I know I sound like a broken record, but the more time I spend in Taiwan, the more upset I am for how my life looked like back home in the United States. And Unfortunately, I don't get a lot of sympathy from my friends back home in the US because most of them are in a different life situation. Most of them are married or at least have a domestic partner. And so a lot of the bitterness that I rave about doesn't seem to apply to them, right? So for example, the being alone with COVID, hot weather doesn't apply. The fact that I have one income and I can't afford to take risks at work, right? When I was negotiating at work, doesn't apply. I was talking to one of my roommates at the hostel, and he actually suggested the next time I go into one of the budget meetings to point out that, hey, I appreciate that this really sucks for everybody, but you got to realize that it sucks if you don't have a dual income, right? Something to that effect. I'm going to have to clean that up a little bit. It probably isn't going to be those exact words, but he thinks I should bring up that concept at least. I'm often afraid to, in large part because I don't have a second income to fall back on. I don't need to tell you guys, we don't have a lot of worker protections here in the United States, right? This guy that I was talking to, he came from Canada, so maybe a different story. I like his concept, but it needs to be cleaned up and Americanized a little bit. But anyway, I want you guys to pray for me. Now, do I Peter dislike my job, my day job? Not really. What I would Peter like a lot is for my Lego build to bring me a lot of income, enough that I could have my basic necessities, and then I can work for the extras. Right? I would feel a lot better if it were like that. Then I could really bring up what I want to bring up at work, right, without fear of repercussions, right? And I think I would do my job a whole lot better, right? Imagine I teach at a community college, right? Imagine I go to work and my boss or somebody says something off, right? I could call them out on it, right? If if I ran into I had one student. I should have given him an F weeks earlier, but I kept being patient with him. He told me he got COVID 19 twice within a few weeks. Two of his grandparents had passed away. He had multiple heartbreak kind of situations. His car had died, and I kept being patient with him. If my art projects were being made at least my basic necessities, right? I probably would have given him an F, right? I wouldn't have gone above and beyond, right? And also, I, uh, I'd probably be a lot less stingy, right? So, for example, part of the reason I'm here in Taiwan earlier in my trip, I had a favorite restaurant. It was an all-you-can-eat hot pot restaurant. I love intermittent fasting, so what I would do was fast 24 hours and then go there and I the last time I was there, I think the owner kind of gave me a bunch of heat, and I decided I better back off a little bit, let it cool down before I go back, and that's when I decided to start cooking stuff in the hostel. And then I ran into a little drama with the cooking facilities here, and if I didn't have financial pressures, sure, I would still love intermittent fasting, but it might not have played out that way, right? All right. So why don't you pray that I make? Let's shoot for whatever the poverty line in the United States currently. I believe for a single individual, it's like 15, 16, 17,000. Let's pray that my like Legos bring in that much, right? And then I'll work on the rest, right? I think I would feel a whole lot more comfortable, and I would keep my day job, by the way. Even if I made 100,000 a year on my art, I would keep my day job because I would do it so much better, right? Without the pressures that come and without the constraints, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. And let's say a prayer for those who have lost family members in Krematorsk, right? Which is why I'm building this in the first. I hope Lego will accept it. Lego sometimes gets really sensitive about things that border on religion, on terrorism. Like they won't do a 9/11 memorial build, and but this is a tragedy, right? It's kind of like I don't know. I've seen war tragedies, they're like memorials with Lego, so I think they will. Bum 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 bum.